Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video we're going through the Brisbane Lions versus Adelaide Crows game, in which Brisbane actually beat them by only 11 points in the end. I think Adelaide came back pretty strongly, if I remember correctly, at the end of the game in the second half to make it an actual, a little bit of a contest, but it never really felt like an absolute contest. Yeah, they kicked 4 goals to 2-6 in the last quarter, including 2 goals late-ish, in the sort of mid part of the quarter to get it down to around about the 2-goal margin, but they never really changed from that point onwards. And it was really just the Lachie Neale and also the Josh Dunkley show that really just created chaos for the likes of Adelaide. I'm just trying to bring up the actual stats per quarter, but it doesn't seem like that website is working, so I guess we'll be working on Fan Footy for today's video. But anyway, before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into this recap. So as you can see here, Lachie Neale, 143 fantasy points, 20 kicks, 16 handballs, 9 marks, 2 tackles, 3 goals, and he's been a surprise package in the last couple of weeks if we actually go to fantasy. And then we go to Neale. I don't want to give away much. Neale, you can see he's back to 99 average. Last 3, 126. Last 5, 111 or so, or something like that. Was it 111? Yeah, 111. But he's basically, other than this tag game, he's had a really strong patch of 7 games or so. What's that? 1, 2, yeah, 6 good games, 1 poor game, and then you can even extend that back to have 7 good games, an average game, and a poor game. Like, he's really firing at the moment, and it's sort of surprising because Neale is one, like Raul and like others, that are really quality players, but you don't really actually, and Cripps to a certain extent, whereas Cripps has actually started to fire a little bit, where you sort of say, oh, they're not really they're quality players, but they don't really rack it up in terms of fantasy points. So it's been really surprising to see him actually score really well. He has got West Coast this week, which is another positive matchup, so you could go there. And yeah, you could look at Lachie Neale for the West Coast matchup. What do you do? Has he played West Coast this year? I don't know if he has. But yeah, projected to go 106. Has gone 110 against West Coast in the past. Then he has Sydney at the Gabba, where he will probably get a tag, I would suspect. And then he's got Gold Coast, where he went pretty big against Gold Coast, didn't he, in the first matchup, of 137. So we'll see if that repeats again. So yeah, he's a one that you can really look at. Josh Dunkley as well, 140 split. Yeah, he's been amazing as well. 22, 13, 8 and 5. So if you're looking for potentially, if you're going to trade out the likes of a Heaney, given that he's currently had his suspension upheld, but they are going to the appeals board on that. So we'll see what happens there. That I think gets heard either tonight or tomorrow. It's going to be a late one, but I will keep you guys updated with that one. But yeah, Josh Dunkley could be a good replacement there. So could Lachie Neale, just given their how they're doing. Dane Zorko 104, and this is why you need Zorko at the moment. He's just consistently popping out scores, and for a forward line that doesn't have any Rankin now for the rest, you can basically disregard Rankin for the rest of the year. He's got a 4-game suspension. They're not going to appeal that. Everyone knew it was going to be 4. That would leave 3 games for the rest of the year from him. So maybe you can bring him in for round like 23, 24, etc. if he has a good round 22. But yeah, he's just not going to be relevant after his hit on, or his bump and accidental head knock on Starcevic. McInerney, Ashcroft 90-86 split. He's an interesting one as well for next year, but it will be that 3rd-year breakout type of player, and it will be interesting to see because he's going to have a 3% discount on his average of. He's going to be at least priced at like 80 or whatever, so I don't think he'll be one that anyone goes near, just because of the 2-pronged midfield in Neale, Dunkley, as well as having McCluggage in there as well as and Berry as well, who's playing pretty well this season. So it's quite hard for, and Ashcroft is a damn good player, but it's kind of hard for him to break in and get that plus 15 that you really need, and that's why you go for role changes. Charlie Cameron, 2 goals, 3 for him. He's getting back to his best. McCluggage, Lester, McKenna, Berry, Danaher, Hipwood, Payne, Andrews, Bailey, Fletcher, Wilmot. Yeah, none of these guys really matter too much. I would be getting off the Brisbane rookies now that all their players seem to be coming back, and they're more likely to be subs like a Lohman, Morris, Revel type guys. I would be getting rid of them. Then we go over to Adelaide, and Rory Laird 97 that isn't even really good enough for fancy. I know that 97 is a decent number, but it's not what we really want. We want those guys that are scoring 110s. But I mean, if Rory Laird's going to do this where he goes 120, 97, 120, 97, then that should be good enough. But I just don't expect him to do that. To be honest with you, he got his midfield roll back, which really he doesn't look the greatest in. And yeah, 27 touches for 146 metres gained. Something like 5.5 metres gained per touch isn't that good, to be honest. O'Brien, Scholl, Keane, Keys I thought had a really good game. 14 touches, 4 goals. I think he should be one that potentially jumps into the midfield, but we'll see what they do. I do really like, and I've rated him throughout his draft year himself, is Philippou in that midfield. So I wonder if they do the same sort of thing with Rochelle. I think Rochelle could be a circuit breaker in that midfield, and given Rankin's out, you might as well try it now for 7 games, given their season is effectively over with, I think, 11 losses already. They have got 5 wins, 1 draw, and 10 losses. Their season is effectively over. Their best they can do is 50 points, which we said for Essendon wasn't even going to get them through, like, that's 7 games, 2 points per game. Yeah, I don't think that'll get them through, to be honest with you. 50 points is going to be very lucky to get them through. So I think season's over, so they may as well try an experiment with the likes of Rochelle in the midfield. Do get Zach Taylor, get Billy Dowling in the midfield. Try these guys 30-40% in the midfield for 1 game or 2, or try something different, because obviously this team isn't the greatest at the moment. Smith, Himmelberg, Murray, we talked about the Rankin suspension. It was right there in line with the goalposts of Parker's and Dixon's suspension, so that sort of is the line there. If you concuss a guy off an accidental head knock from a bump, you're going to get 3, but if you concuss them off ball, you're going to get 4, and if you do further damage, you're going to get 6. That is how the timeline seems to, or the sort of goalposts are set at the moment. I wonder what a 5-game suspension will be. It's probably just something to do with not a full broken jaw or something, I guess would be 5. Walker, Berry, McElhaney, Saligo, Nankervis, Hinge, Fogarty, Dawson with a 57. That was sort of surprising, but now that Rankin is out for 4 games, I think that role only gets better for him. I think it is surprising, obviously, that he gets a 60, but he just didn't get his hands on the footy too much, so I expect better from him. A leader of the football club should be performing better than this, and I don't even think he was necessarily tagged, so it's a really, really poor performance from him. But I could be wrong in saying that he wasn't tagged in the game, because I didn't watch this one. Billy Dowling, 49. I thought he was a really good rookie at the moment, and is just going to be that comfortable sort of 60 or so guy. It seems like, alongside, I have a stacked bench at the moment. If we just go here to here, you'll see my bench at the moment with all of these guys. It could dramatically change with the suspension to Heaney and how that works out. But you see Billy Dowling, Tholstrop, Manor, even Humphreys, they're all there, sitting there, and they'll be hopefully do enough to cover Heaney, score if he needs to be covered. If he comes back in, then he comes back in and probably just honestly plays in the M8 role for the round. I'll probably sort it out there, but he'll probably just play that cover that last midfield spot. Murphy, Cook, Rochelle, we talked about him. I'm really high on him, but I just think that they need to get him in that midfield. It's pretty obvious at this point that midfield mix isn't working. Butts and then Taylor. So that pretty much is the video there. A little bit of a shorter one, just because it was a game that I didn't necessarily watch too much of it, I don't think. And also the fact that there isn't much to talk about on Adelaide's side. I don't really like Rory Laird's consistency or his role consistency. I don't like Dawson because he's having stinker and then a good week, stinker, then a good week. Rankin suspended, so that pretty much knocks out anyone from Adelaide. Then you've got Neil, Dunkley, Zorko, who are basically the only ones relevant in this one. I mean, you do have the relevancy of Dowling, and then not really Taylor, because he came off the bench, came off the subs bench, so he didn't really get enough time to do anything. But if he gets a full game, Taylor, he could be interesting as well. But that is the video there, and I guess I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.